Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you the process of me working on this particular piece. This is kind of like a poster piece that I'm doing for the project that is called Christmas Nevermore. I have two versions of this video. First one is this one that has a voiceover where I talk about this particular project, this particular illustrations, and just go over the process, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, etc. And another version of this video has only music and drawing. So if you're interested in that, I will leave a link either down below or somewhere on the screen. Yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I might comment on what I'm doing, but other than this, I'm gonna put some nice relaxing music on the background. So I hope you guys will enjoy it and maybe, you know, find something useful in this video. And yeah, let's go. This is originally a kid's novel called Christmas Nevermore, and I will link below the link to the book where you can find it digitally and physically. It's a published book. I think it was published maybe 6-ish years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. I'm not gonna pronounce who is it by because both guys have French last name, and I'm not even gonna try. So I think it's gonna be more respectful of me not to pronounce it, since I can barely pronounce English words these days. So I'm just gonna leave everything in the description down below. But basically, this is the book that I illustrated back in the days, maybe 7 years ago at this point. I think it was 2013. Is it 7 years ago? Yeah, it's gonna be 2020. It is 2020 at the time of you watching it. So I've been approached by one of the authors of this book, Marc, and he found me online and wanted me to illustrate this book for him. And as a person living in Russia and trying to save money to go to Canada and study abroad, to me it was a golden opportunity. Of course, I've been doing illustrations back then, but I never got something like this big commission, and I think he commissioned closer than 60 illustrations. Yeah, this book has 60 illustrations that I've done, and this project took me, I think, a year to complete. And it was very, very, very fun project to work on. And this project is very sentimental on many levels. Well, first of all, this project really helped me on my way to go to Canada, and also the book itself is amazing story. And of course, I'm very grateful to work on a project that usually very interesting to me and that I really, really, really like. However, it's still rare when the project comes along that you really believe in and think that it is very, very good project. And this book is very sweet. It's about very, very important topics. It's about environment, it's about indigenous cultures, and it's just a phenomenal story. And I really think that we need more stories like this. It's very, very kind. It has a lot of great and amazing messages in it. So I worked on this book and I illustrated, as I said, I did around 60 illustrations, and I had so much fun, and I was lucky to be given an opportunity to do a lot of stuff creatively. I would propose things and they will be very welcomed. So now the story is being pitched, and there is a negotiations at work about how we're gonna bring it to life in a TV show format, or maybe movie format, you never know. Like, we're just pitching, but you know, we never know what's gonna happen when somebody will be interested. But basically, the story is taking new shape now, and I'm very excited to work on it again and kind of adapt it into new form. And obviously on the right-hand part it's been adapted to be a screenplay, but for me it's kind of me adapting my old illustration style, like 7 years old, into this kind of 2D cartoon style, which is very fun and very exciting. I know that the way I'm applying lines over my sketch is not exactly correct. I was watching videos of a lot of different artists and how they do line work, and from my understanding the most productive way is to use pen tool in Photoshop or something vector, so that you can actually go and use a color bucket to fill in the color, but I like to create problems for myself, and I actually hate all the like vector tools quite a lot, just because in my university this is the ones we were forced to use, and to me they're just very slow and yeah, tedious. I studied industrial design and we did a lot of blueprints and we used a lot of those technical vector tools, and I just don't want them in my drawings at all. So I just use line. I like just drawing with my brush, and even when I create this kind of clean line on top, I still like to have some imperfection and have some liveliness in it. So if it has holes in it, it's perfectly fine. I just like the dynamic of like drawn pen strokes. But I know it's not the most efficient way to go around art style like this. I don't have the whole process of me lining this on top recorded, just because I found it really boring after some time. Like doing line work over main characters was very fun, but when it got to doing like something like a bridge, like something like clouds, something like different compositional lines, smoke and stuff like this, I figured that that is not that interesting, so I decided I'm just gonna skip some of it and we're gonna go right to colors. As for color work, I want to quickly explain what I'm doing here. I kind of showed in my video when I show my Photoshop setup. When I do my comic pages, I usually have two of my pages on the side and the third kind of like a big one in the center that I'm working on, and when I do drawings such as this, I still like to have like different images on the side as a reference. And as you can see, I'm pulling out some photographs that I liked colors on, and I'm also opening some illustrations by other artists that is more like cartoony style, just to keep me inspired. And obviously we're all learning and I'm learning also, and I just might not know some of interesting things that you can do in this style, so that's why I just found some beautiful art on Pinterest and I just have it as a reference on the side. And obviously I have photographs where I'm going to be pulling colors from. How I like working with colors, as you can see, I like creating kind of background, and then I just start using very soft brush with very general colors, and I like letting colors bleed in through like each other, just to create kind of this good blending of colors and see how they work together and get those nice colors in between that gonna hold the image together. I also have this reference sheet of for different characters. It's just images from Pinterest that I use as an inspiration, but mostly for like color combination, just random things that get me inspired, really. I've been working on these characters already for some time, so I have variation of each of these characters that you are seeing in this piece, and you might see sometimes like a sheet with characters drawn, because sometimes I'm just pulling out the concept art or like a variation of the clothes for this character that I already did, just to see kind of like the clothing design, just to remind myself of what I already made up for them. Yeah, so as you can see, it's very smooth, and all the colors that I'm liking are blending nicely, so that's what I like. And when it's done, I just go in and start filling in different pieces of each character, like for example separating fur from like main coat, like hair, skin and whatnot. And this process actually takes quite a lot, and yeah, I'm creating a separate layer for each of this. I know, again, like artists who are doing like cartoony style all the time, they're probably rolling their eyes on how I'm working. They're like, oh my god, girl, it creates so much more extra work for yourself. Like, geez, you can just like literally fill it in with color if you did lines properly. But yeah, I know. But it's also fun. It's like doing a color book, you know. But yeah, this process actually takes quite a while. So I'm not gonna include the whole process. I'm just gonna keep the ones when I'm going through main characters, and then some details, you know, just finishing up, I will not include, because otherwise this video is gonna be super long, and I'm pretty sure you guys get an idea. And I'm very sorry for my camera wiggling so much. I used to do those like spin paint kind of videos before, and I got a comment when people were saying that I should kind of like move the camera less, because when it's sped up, people can get dizzy looking at it. And I'm really sorry, I actually don't know how to do it less, because I just feel like I'm losing precision if I'm staying in one place for a long time. I'm obviously going to be trying in my next videos like this to stay as still as possible, but my main priority obviously is to deliver good work. So I know, I'm sorry, I'm going to be working on it. I will have to figure it out somehow. So I know there's an issue, and I'm very sorry. I skipped the part when I'm filling in some secondary characters and like quote-unquote set pieces. So here I'm just using just some lines and trying to blend it together and make sure all the characters that are going to work together, they have like some colors dynamically going through them and connecting them. Besides, obviously, characters in this piece, they're not literally standing together. It's more like a collage. So I adding some gold lines to make it all look kind of blended and have this transition between them. And after the filling work is done, this is where I just create clipping masks for each of the layers, and I just go and add some shadow, some light. I don't go too crazy. It is a little hard for me because normally I draw in like photoreal-ish type of style, where I try to get like very correct real life shading, but I noticed that if you go too far with this in cartoony style, it started to fall apart. So that's why I'm trying to stick either to shadow or to light only. I just add light and shadow to something that is more important, or if we have some lighting source nearby. So for example, we see I'm adding like a rim light to characters, and a little girl in the foreground, she is holding like a glowing sphere, and I will be adding quite a lot of different layers of lighting on her, but this is more like an exception. Usually I keep it like to just one extra shade per element, either darker or lighter. Here I'm doing some color correction overall and trying to separate foreground from background a little bit. I actually noticed that the colors are kind of like the same lightness, and you want to have variations of like darks and lights in your picture, and you want to differentiate your characters on the image not just with colors but also with different levels of darkness. Because it's just easier on the eye, because color alone makes it harder to still kind of like isolate a character. But if you make like certain groups of character darker and stand out with a lighter background, it makes it easier. In this case, I kind of create like a glow behind the kids on the foreground to separate them from collage style characters on the background. As I was sketching out this piece, I actually was probably overthinking the composition because I wanted to position characters in like a special way to add meaning that kind of works with the story. So that's why on the right side I have kind of like a darkness, a little bit of like gloomy vibe, and a little bit of like reds, and we see oil rigs on the background there, because the story has a lot of aspect connected to environment and how we have to protect it, and how pollution is not a good idea at all. So that's kind of like antagonistic force in this story. So wanted kids kind of like also follow from like a dark side to a brighter side, where we see Santa sledge and Aurora and all of that, and kind of show the kind of like metaphorically that kids main characters are kind of carrying us from their own path of pollution and everything to like the brighter, vibrant future that is more connected to nature and joy and happiness. It's I probably was overthinking it, but I wanted composition to have something special in it. And yeah, I just wanted to have kind of like the story that blends into this artwork that helps the viewer kind of follow the meaning of it. Probably nobody gonna notice it, but I decided to kind of point out that's kind of things I'm thinking about when I'm drawing, because this is a sped up version, but you guys, I think it's 14 hours of work. so it's a lot of time, and I was, you know, thinking all this time. Now I'm doing some finishing touches. I'm using a clipping mask to add color to lines and separate the characters from the background even more, make them more magical. And yeah, and then the end result, I just added some grain and shifted channels a little bit to blend everything even more and create this finished look. So yeah, and this is the finished result. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.